And welcome, folks. Sorry about that. I almost ended the show prematurely. Not
Not
that
that
button.
button.
You got that right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. How's it going, Andrew? Hey, Andrew. On. I'll be up this weekend. This Friday. I'll be up there, and I'm staying for 2 weekends. And with any luck, I'll be seeing the end of the island. With any luck, because I've made a lot of progress, and I mean, there's a lot of vines and stuff. My brother may be accompanying me. If he does, then and if you have some time, then it's a definite end of the bamboo island, end of the bamboo. I'm looking forward to it. I really
We're
am.
all looking forward to it.
Yeah, but I got 10 days up there, so I'm gonna use them to my best advantage. There. Anyway, uh, so how's everybody doing, folks? And again, I'd like to thank Andrew. He made this. Got it in the back room. He made this incredible looking portable kitchen, and gave me a set. I don't know if are you finally selling those things, Andrew, or not, but well, let me know. Um, but yeah, that was a cool little cool piece of furniture. I'm stumbling today. I'm really tired. Sorry,
Well,
folks.
Andrew said that being it's close to the end of the bamboo, it ought to be close for requiring a ceremony.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll definitely do that. Do that. All right. Just testing it out. Okay, excellent. He's putting. I bet he's going all out and putting some secret doors and this and that.
What?
I don't know. I just that's something that I would that I'd make it all intricate and stuff like that. But well, if it was for myself, I'd do that. If it's for sale, I probably wouldn't because every one of those things takes time, and if it's for a friend or something like that, I make it like really really fancy schmancy. But if it's for selling in bulk, this is a piece of advice for all you folks. um, Anything you're selling as far as signage or anything, or any knickknack, uh, make it fast, make it a quick turnaround, because either that or charge a lot of money. And then you gotta everything's a balance, folks. How much will someone pay for that? You know. Anyway, uh, let's move on, and we'll head off to good evening, Marcello. Good to see you. Good to see you. And let's. Well, okay. So let me share what I got. Let's see if. Hang on, I got one lying around here somewhere. Give me a sec.
Hello, Kevin. Kevin from Philadelphia is in. Hi, Marcello.
Never have one when you need it. There we go.
Yep. That's only because it's live.
All right. So what prompted me this week? I better put this back as soon as I finish showing it because it's going out. I do all these little fancy metals and stuff and engrave. I'm not going to show the engraving because I don't want to give it away, and doubtful that an eighth grader from a particular school is watching, but you never know. So anyway, um, obviously I make metals. I do a lot of things. It's one of my prior businesses, and I still do a
Mm.
good bit of business on it. And what I usually do is I have an extra set because this particular school. Good evening, Bob. Good to see you. This particular school that I work with, one of many, has not changed the order in 15 years. It's the same order. It's the same batch of metals. It's the same I charge roughly the same price. I basically any I pass on only increases in my cost, but that's it. And then so every year they order a specific amount of medals. Two computer science, four mathematics, four English. They're the academic medals of the school. Let me put this one back.
Yes, sir. Hi, Bob. How you doing?
And so I always carry an extra set. The reason being is the places that I order from, sometimes they don't have all the medals because it is the busy season now, at the end of the year. COVID has made it a lot easier this year because they're not awarding medals because kids are not in school. I don't know, for whatever reason. There's an extra supply. Well, I usually have a box where I throw them in, and that's fine if you guys put a box here, a box there, and all this. But I need to know that I have exactly how many medals of each category I have. So for whatever reason that might float your boat, I'm going to make myself a little case that is exactly, 2.5, exactly the size of the medal, and with some dividers on it. And that's what we'll do now. A nice little box, simple box, nothing fancy. You could put magnets on the lid, you could put hinges on the lid, or you could do what I do is make a recessed lid that'll drop in, and then I'll just rubber band around it and put it on a shelf for next year. But the point is, since sometimes I don't get the medals, sometimes take a month and a half to get here, and this particular school, like all the other, like many others, they decide at the last minute who is how many of each they need. I always like to keep a certain amount of medals in stock of this type for this company, another type for another company, and so I got a bit of room taken up with inventory from all my better customers. And for whatever reason, if you need more organization, well, here we go. Let's start with a share screen here.
Yeah, make me smaller, buddy.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. Alrighty. I wish I could make myself smaller too, but well, I guess.
I'm working on that.
Yep. I hear you. So here we go. And there's our Vectric. And let's see here. So today, let's create a new file. I'm going to use 1/2 inch wood. So we'll stick to the 1/2 inch plywood. Nice and simple. And a lot of these things are very, very simple, but you got to think them out. In other words, right now I'm going to make a simple box. Now, let's all go through the process. Hang on, let me grab that piece again. Take a quick measurement here.
Are you going to put dados in for the dividers? That's awful small.
All right, so the metals are 2 inches around, and so 2.5 inches at their widest point. So if they're 2.5 inches, you figure the bottom of the box is going to be, let's go ahead and make the bottom of the box 3 inches. It's going to be, the sides will be rabbeted on the bottom, and they will be, and the bottom will drop into it. So let's go for the box. I know a lot of people have trouble with boxes. I mean, some people have trouble with boxes. I don't know if this, but we're going to go ahead and do, let's do one of these. Let's do, I don't care where I put it. I'm going to click it. So the width is going to be, okay, let's do the front and the front and the back. The front is going to be how high? We need 1/2 inch on the bottom, 1/4 inch on the top, half an inch, and a quarter inch. So half an inch and a quarter inch is 3/4 of an inches of an inches, 3/4 of an inch plus the 2.5. That's 3 1/4 inches. So we're going to make the height 3 1/4. We're going to make the width. It's going to be let's see. It's going to be the full width. So it'll be the internal 3 inches, and you're going to have half an inch and half an inch. So sorry, the internal 2.5. And then, so the box is, the inside of the box is going to hold 2.5 by 2.5 by, I don't know, we'll call it 12 inches. How's that? 11 inches. It'll make it easy for us. All right, so there it is. There it isn't. Give me a second. That's, what did I say? It was 3.5. All right. So there is our, there's one of them. And here's another one. That's the front and that's the back. Forget this box up here. That's just garbage. That's just garbage. Now, we have our front and we have our back. Now what we'll do is we'll have our, let's go ahead and do our two sides. The two sides will be simple because it's the same height, which is the 3.5. Sorry, the 3 1/4. That doesn't change. And the width is now going to be, we're looking at 12 inches because it's half an inch and half an inch on either end. Whoops. Sorry, folks. This mouse is getting away from here. So boom and boom. There's our two sides. Now we'll do the bottom. The bottom will be, the bottom and the top will be different widths. The bottom is going to be, if this is 12 inches, let's go, the length is going to be, rather the width is going to be, if it's going to be 12 inches, we have to take off 1/4 inch from each side, so that's 11.5. And then if the width is 3.5, 1/4 and 1/4, that would be 3 inches. So 3 by 11.5. I'll put a 3-inch height and I'll put 11.5. Boom. And so that's the bottom. Now the top is going to be half an inch more all the way around because this basically the top is going to be, in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do is I will create it in the same place, and I will create, actually, let me create a second one of these. There it is. And now what I'll do is I'll create it in the, and I'll show you why I did that. And then now I'll create a 12-inch by 3.5-inch box, and it'll be dead center of this one. Boom. Now, what I just did was I just created the top. The top is done. I hope you guys, yeah, you saw that, didn't you, Russ?
Yes, sir.
So basically what I did was create the top. So all I got to do here is simply route this. Let's see. Let's do a profile outside with a 1/4 inch bit. And this is going to be a 1/4 inch, so it's going to overlap nicely. A 1/4 inch bit outside, select, and we're going to do, and we're going to go down to 0.25, which is half the width of the, we're going to go to a depth outside here of half of the plywood.
Yep.
Yep. And so calculate. And then what we'll do is we'll go back and we shall right here do two things. What I want to do is, just to make it nice and neat, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to do a profile on the line of the same depth. So a profile on this line. I'll calculate. All right. And then what I'll do is I will do a, come on, you can do it. This is a little lagging a little.
Lagging a little bit, yeah.
There we go. All right, so now we'll do a profile outside of this one to a depth of 0.5. Not 0.5, but 0.5. So folks, if you've been following along, this is what it looks like. Let me zoom in here. Oops, I'll do that. Hang on a second. There we go. This button. Trying to zoom in just right. All right. Well, anyway, you. Okay, something is wrong here. I did on the line. Hang on. Why doesn't it look right? This first profile is outside the inner line. Okay, that is correct. The second profile should be on the outside line. You see, on the outside line, that is correct. And it's a 1/4 inch end mill. Oh, did I make it half? I might have made it. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just let's do this. Let's just I'll add another one. See, we did outside. No, that should be right. Why isn't that right? Hang on a second. On, and it goes down to 25. Yes, that is correct. Calculate. I'm just wondering why this looks incorrect.
You shouldn't have that outer lip around.
No, I shouldn't. I shouldn't. Let me double check everything, folks. Let's see. Okay, again, this one is going to be the inside one, and it's outside of this. Let me just double check the dimensions here. This looks like it's how wide is this thing? This is a 1/4 inch. It's a 1/4 inch, no more, no less. All right, so we're looking at it's a 1/4 inch lip, so that first one should go the whole length. Yep. Give me a sec. Okay, the first one is fine. Outside of close. Outside of this line. Calculate, boom. Yeah, that is correct. Now, the second one, oh, I know what happened. For some reason or another, the third profile wasn't chosen. Reset, preview all toolpaths. No, it couldn't. That wasn't it. That couldn't be it.
You shouldn't have to have a third profile, though. To my way of thinking, it should just be the two, right?
Right. Let me, hang on a second. Well, yeah, you're right. Except there's one problem when you only have the two profiles, and a lot of you guys have run through this, and that is, hang on, let me zoom in here. See what happens when you have the when you have only the one profile. Too much. Come on, you can do it. Mouse is very sensitive, folks.
Temperamental sucker, ain't it?
I'm telling you. And now I want to move it, and it doesn't want to move. There you go. See, what happens, Russ, is you see how it'll trim here,
right,
but it'll miss this corner.
Mm-hmm.
If I do just a 1/4 inch, it'll, basically I'm doing a 1/4 inch from this line and 1/4 inch deep. And then I'm doing on this line, which is a 1/4 inch away. It should theoretically remove it. But obviously there's a hair of the line, which is why I put this second one in.
Right.
This second profile. See, that second profile is wrong. That second profile, for some reason or another, is incorrect.
Well, that's the one I was saying. That,
I know what I did. Wait a second. No, I don't know what I did. Hang on a second. Profile on the line. That's it. Okay, so this is the profile inside. Oh, it looks too thin. Hang on a second. I did pick. I think I know what went wrong. I think I know. Okay, folks, For you guys that are, by the way, let me read the comments because somebody may have
We're up to date.
come up with exactly what the problem might be. Look, my suspicion. Let's see if this is correct or not. My suspicion is that even though this says end mill 1/4 inch, the inner dimensions are set for less than a 1/4 inch. That would that would that would pretty much give me these results, unless the program's messed up, which I doubt. So edit. Sure enough, diameter 0.12. See, that's a problem. So, folks, keep in mind, make sure if you ever, I probably messed with this to adjust something and I didn't rename it. If you ever mess with this diameter number, rename the end mill.
Yeah.
So now I will. Okay, so now I will close, edit. Let me make sure this is correct. 25. Okay. Calculate. Let me do this. Profile 2, edit. 25. Calculate. And just it might be the bit that I have to adjust anyway, and it still might not take it, but I'm pretty sure this way it will take all of them. Reset, preview all toolpaths, and that is much better.
That's
I can see that from here. Hang on.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. There's exactly what our lid should look like. Come on, you can not forward back. Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, folks, this might be a short show.
I'm telling you, this is frustrating as heck.
Oh, my goodness.
Nope. All right, let's do it this way. Make the whole thing small. Yeah. There we go. And make it, where is the, hang on, the alignment. Here we go, align. There we go. Now we just go down. We go zoom.
And there you are.
And that's much better. But anyway, that's our lid. Boy, we're not getting very far on this in this show, are we? All righty. Okay, so here we go. We got our lid. Now, our bottom is easy. It's done. Basically, the bottom is the bottom. It is a full piece that gets recessed, as you see. Actually, the lid is kind of incorrect. Let me see. It's because this bottom piece is bigger than this. So actually, this piece has to be. See all that work, and it's incorrect. Don't you love it? Not incorrect by much, but this is basically going to be 11 by 2.5. The inside one, because the inside of the box is 11 by 2.5. So you guys weren't paying attention to correct me, because now this bottom lid, if you will, the way I've got it structured is the bottom lid is right there in the middle. You see where I've got it here?
Yeah.
This is it's got to adjust it a little bit, but basically the bottom lid is here. Let's do it this way. Zip and zip. Okay, there we go. The bottom lid is these four sides are rabbited, and the bottom lid is right in between them. And then the top lid is basically this piece right here. It's recessed as you saw it. So this is the inner cavity. This is the outer sides of the box. So now let us continue to the ends are somewhat easy. All we got to do here is I will copy, I will paste, and I will just make this 1/2 inch thick. from the left. And we're done with that one. And the same thing goes for actually I could just and then and again there's many ways to do this, folks. I'm just doing it one way. There it is. We have our two sides. But wait a second. We need a bottom is recessed. So we'll take our bottom. Or, I mean, we'll take this again. Top is not recessed. The top is flush. But the bottom will be height, again, 0.5. All right. So each one of the sides is recessed like this, and it's recessed half an inch. So now that we know we have our three sides here, we'll worry about the details later. But there we go. We got both our side boxes done. Now, rather our front and rear, whichever one you want to call it. You know, it's either side or front and rear. I'll call these the sides. Now, these are the big ones. These are the ones that are going to take little slats in them. So first thing we got to do is obviously, in fact, we'll just go ahead and take these same. Okay, so let me think how I've got this set up. These two ends are fitting in these rabbets. This bottom piece needs to be rabbited. So basically, copy, paste. I've already got it at the right height, so I'm just going to do one of these jobs and done. And copy again and paste. And obviously, the right way to do it, folks, is finish one and then you worry about the rest. So, all right. So now that we have our tops and our sides and everything. Now what we got to do, let's work on one side because the other side is identical. What I want to do is I want to make sure they are symmetrical, and I'll show you how to do that after. But let's see, the thickness that I want for each divider is going to be, I don't know, let's make them, if they're 1/4 inch, I'm using 1/4 inch plywood. So if it's 1/4 inch plywood, I'd say 3/4 of an inch in between. So we'll do something simple, which is, and I'll do it right from the bottom here because it doesn't matter. We'll go, this is going to be a width of 1/4 inch, or really 0.251, because when I pocket it, I want my 0.25 bit to go in the middle. If it's over 0.25, it'll smoothly go all the way around. The Mach 3 will let it do that. If it's 0.25 exactly, it will not even burrow in there. I mean, so, and then the height is the height. So that's pretty much done there. Now all we got to do is put the following, which is we do the old offset. And this time we're going to do a gap in between. We're going to do multiple columns. Let's try 7, just, however many we get. And this is going to be 0 on the Y and 0.75 gap on the X. Copy. Okay, we need more than that. So let's try 12, which is not going to, well, maybe it will be 12. Let's try 11.
11.
Yeah. So 11, and then what we'll do is the following. Group I should have clicked group copies before, but anyway, they're grouped. All right. Now, take everything there and center it left, right. Boom. There it is. Now, so this, if I flip this around, which I intend to, by doing the following. Delete. Making a copy. I flip. Now, you could, just to be 100% certain, you could just flip this, do a left to right flip. And if you had something really close here and a big gap here, then you would have to. But you know what? Frankly, they're symmetrical. So
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem whatsoever cutting them both out this way and knowing that they will fit. All right. So all these pieces, but not this one, I'll group. And the same thing with this, obviously. Group. In fact, I'll just go ahead and hit all of these at the same time. Not the outsides, but I'm choosing all the pockets. So now if I choose all the pockets, it's driving me nuts here. There we go. Come on. There we go. Let me bring these down so I can have a nice bigger uh, area. I mean, something nicer to see here. Hang on a second. There we go. And zoom in. All right. So let's go back to this first one. This first profile was on the outside. We don't need anything cut on the outside of these. Let's see if I cut the outside of this. See, now one of the things I could do is the following. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, folks. Let's go back to ungroup these things again. This piece, I'm going to stretch it above. Same thing with this piece. I know we should have done it all at the same time, but I'll just do them both now. I'm going to stretch it above. That does not change the width, but it allows me to create a pocket. So now when the bit passes this, it doesn't create a little round over. See, if
Right.
not, it'll be rounded here and it'll come right back down. We don't want that. We want it to pass it and then go back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's one. And the same thing goes for these two. What I'll do is here is I'll stretch it this. Oh, not that much. Hang on a second. Let me just. I'll stretch it out. I'll stretch it down, and I'll stretch it left. I know it's crazy. It's a big waste of space. There's a lot more efficient ways to do this, but you know what? I'm here for the save me time.
Yeah, it saves you from having to use the chisel and the mallet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Unless you just like it.
Yeah, not a fan, not a fan. Well, I'm a
Me.
fan, but all right. So all of this, let's just ungroup all of this, and so this one, we do the same thing here. We'll make that a little larger, that a little larger, this a little larger, this a little wider, this a little larger. And of course, I am not going to do this twice. So just delete this, copy this. Actually, before I copy it, let me grab these three pieces and merge them together. Boom. There we go. And now I'll take this, copy, paste, and move. There we go. This piece, rather these pieces and this piece can also be merged. Well, group two, but merged. There. Oh, goodness gracious. Don't group it. Merge it first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then same thing with these. All right. We have our little things. Now you'll notice that the bottom piece is going to fit in there. These things will fit in here, and we're pretty much done with this box. Well, almost done. We need to do the profiles. So we're going to do a pocket here on this one, select this one also, and select these two. These are pockets. So pocket, 1/4 inch, end mill, 1/4 inch, depth.
Did you correct your end mill size while ago? or
Yeah, let
did
me
you
make
just?
sure I do that here too. Ha, this one's 245.
Hmm?
That's funny. Okay, calculate. Okay, so all that's done. Let me go back to this again, and now let me zoom again, folks. If you're doing stuff out of order, look at me. Over here on the bottom right. I'm going to move my pocket higher than the final profile because you got to remember you got to do things in whatever order you're doing them in. And right now, that's the outer profile. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, and this one all at the same time. But those are the last pieces that those are the last pieces that I will be cutting out. So remember to, uh, you don't want to cut them out before you start cutting the inner pieces, particularly if you don't have any tabs, like I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes tend not to do. So I will reset. I will preview all the tool paths and let it go through its little rigmarole. And as you see, uh, there is a problem with the pocket.
Yep.
So let's go back to that pocket and see what the width is here, because it uh, should have been 251. Remember, I told you guys you gotta make it bigger. Well, I mean, there's another way around it. Hang on a second, and that is, holy cow! What the?
Huh.
It's only 20. I don't. Why is it only 20? Is what I want to know. See what happens when you're not paying attention. All right. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. One is redo the whole thing. Another is stretch this piece out and then keep measuring until this is 0.251. Or we've got our third option, which is I'll take this piece here. Um, all right, like so. It's pretty much even on this side, and then what I'll do is I will make it 0.25. Let's make it 252 just for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's our width, and then I'll take a nice little array copy here, and we need one, two, three. Wait, sorry, we need one. We had 11 copies, 11 copies, but this time we're going to do an offset, and the offset's going to be actually. Let's put the gap, and the gap will be point 0.6. We'll just yeah point. Well, actually, we can calculate it. We were at 20. Now we were at 0.20. It's 251. So I got to get rid of 0.05. So we'll do zero point 0.7 and see if that works. See how it works anyway. Copy. Pretty darn close. Close enough that I can actually go over here, stretch this right to the end, and every single one of those will overlap the old ones. And that's all I need, because now I close this. I take this piece, not stupid. Okay, first of all, let me get rid of this little nibbly bit here that I made. And I'll take these pieces, actually all these pieces, and merge them. And they're fixed now. Copy. And get rid of, well, actually, now let me just erase this,
Yep.
which is a lot better than trying to. Before I erase that, let me do one last thing. I want this to be perfectly centered. So let me just make sure. Remember, we want it symmetrical. There. Just in case we hit the center button. Copy, paste, go down. And now, try again. Okay, our pocket. Select the two. Calculate. Oh, wait a second. There's two more missing. Oh, good. They've been selected. Good. All right, calculate. Now select the profile because now we messed. I mean, we messed around with this so much that this has to be added. Calculate. Let's try it again, folks, and preview all toolpaths. Doom be doom be doom. Now I know it'll work because I see the lines. There we go. So, if you'll notice, when I get rid of this, dun dun dun. All right, so we have our box, folks. We have our box. Let me adjust this here. Adjust this. Come on, come on. You can zoom in. All right, so there's our bottom. I mean, there's our sides. There's our little things. And all we need now are dividers. And dividers are, come on. If you guys can't figure out the length with the CNC, then just by all means grab a piece of 1/4-inch ply and stick it on your table saw because sometimes and again, most of this stuff, folks, I'm just showing you a different way of doing this because every single bit of this, every single bit of what I just showed you, you can do without a CNC and without a router. I mean, come on. This is a no-brainer here. This is a simple table saw can do the whole entire box,
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're going to be doing a lot of little calculations and a lot of markings and stuff, but I would dare to say that, let's see, it took us about 40 minutes, but really 30 minutes. I was gabbing for the first 10, but took us half an hour to set all this up. Plop the thing in there, and this will probably take 15 minutes to cut. So in less than an hour, you've got this. I would dare to say that with a table saw, just winging it, you guys can, any one of us can knock this out in 15, 20 minutes. So there is that. However, there's nothing as precise and perfect as a router, as a CNC router, folks. And it's fun to do. I got to tell you, and I'll go back to so I got to say, let me ask you this, Russ, because I know I'm guilty of it quite often, and a lot of you guys as well. How many of you guys out there are guilty of? You always hear, I always got Scotty in the back of my mind. The right tool for the right job. Well, how many of you guys are guilty of, because you prefer a specific tool or a certain tool, because there's right tools and there's tools. And is the right tool for this a table saw or is it a CNC? No. However, there's no difference. But things like, this is what I'm getting at, things like cutting a square board.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to cut a simple box that I just, brad nail and glue together, and I don't care how it looks, it's just a box. And all the pieces are the same. You could argue that the right tool is a table saw. Because it'll cut straight corners. It'll cut straight. It'll cut nice and big. And it's quick, and you're done. There are some people out there. I won't mention names, but I know they're not watching now, so it doesn't matter if I mention them. But for future use, I don't want to mention names, but I know a couple people out there who are so crazy about jigsaws that they will cut a large square box completely and wholly with a jigsaw because they use the jigsaw for everything.
I'm not one of them.
Oh, no, neither am I. However, I am almost as guilty because, and now there's other reasons too. I'll use this excuse. This is my excuse for using the CNC for this. My excuse is I don't have enough room in the backyard and I got to lug out the table saw. CNC's right here. It's all set up. All I got to do is throw a piece of board on it, a couple calculations, send, cycle start, done. You know. On the
Well,
other hand, it's a waste because I'll show you. If I am cutting a bunch of squares, let's say I'm cutting a bunch of squares. I seem to have a bunch of waste.
wow.
There's not a single one of these squares that I cannot cut. Now, granted, you see the rounded corners. Okay? Now, they're squares. This is my you guys have seen my diorama, I'm sure,
Right,
that,
right.
you know, from months before. And this is nothing more than the walls and the doors and all the different parts with the closets and stuff. And there's not a single piece here that I can't cut. You know, maybe this one is a little bit intricate, but big deal. You just notch it out with the table saw and the chisel and you're done. But it's basically all squares. And I've got a heck of a lot of waste on this board. I could probably fit another few pieces in. I mean, look at this piece, this excess, because it's got to be held down somewhere. So yeah, there are disadvantages.
Well,
However,
I am going to go out on a limb and say that in your backyard, I'd rather see you do it with the table saw when you have Eloy standing behind it to hit him with them chips again. By God,
I agree with
I
that.
laugh at that damn thing every time you do it.
Every time.
Every time I laugh at it. that kills me.
Let me see if I can pop that up, folks. So I want to show you guys that one with the full video. This is from this could use up my last 10 minutes. Hang on. This is I just got to find it here.
You see his lips moving, so I know he's telling you something, and you just put your head down and walk off. There's nothing you can say.
Yeah. Yep.
It's funny.
It's an old let me see where I've got it. I have a feeling it's in my YouTube archives. Oh no, you know what? I know where I have it. I have it in one of my hang on.
While you're thinking about that,
Yeah, go on.
On your projects, I've noticed you saving your projects to a file on your computer.
Yes.
Okay, you still have all of them saved?
Everyone.
Okay, I was just curious because there's some of those that some of us might like to cut.
Yeah, I will put them out there. I will put them out there. Now here's one thing that I do mention. I mean that I will mention. And that is hang on, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. Let me look for my content. And this is quite a while back. And next page. Show 50. And third page. I got some. I got them back there somewhere. Let me see. Dun, 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 dun. Make room for Javi. Folks, I'm going to have to show it to you another time because I have it, but I don't know where it is. But basically, it was for a skit. That little clip that you see there, it was for a skit of the what was that little thing we were doing for a while there? Not Makers Media, and it was God. Now I'm drawing a blank, but it was Makers Wanted. It was called Makers Wanted. and it was they did it one year. I came in on the second year, and there's just a bunch of woodworkers that chipped in and did a lot of funny stuff, little skits, little tiny, it was like a variety show of skits. Some of them were funny, some of them were incredibly not. Um, but
Oh,
anyway,
that one was good.
yeah, but this particular one, it was just a little thing, and Eloy did this section, and it was just, if you know Eloy, it's his deadpan.
Yeah.
He would do something like, you got to do this, and you got to cut this, and you got to his he would never show his face. It's just his hands. You got to do this, and you got to do this. He goes, oh, forget it. You might as well not bother because you suck at woodworking. And that was the whole skit. I mean, I can't even do him justice. I cannot. But it was funny. So, well, as a and then my skit was make room for Javi. Make room for
Hmm.
Javi, and then I would do like a 30-second thing. Some of them are up on my page. It's like you know how small is, here's one for you guys. How small is too small? In case you haven't seen it, what's the smallest piece of scrap? And my argument was, and the part of the show was, there is no such thing as small scraps. And then I showed a little a pile of a bunch of scraps that were not being used for anything. They were just all piled up. And then everything could find a use, and it's true. Some people believe that. And then at the end of it, at the end of these 30 seconds or so, and now, what about even smaller than this? And then I pointed to one of my trailers, to a big trailer that I have. This trailer is completely loaded with sawdust.
Oh my God.
As a joke, whatever.
Take that
But
over to Russ Clarity's place. He likes
yeah,
sawdust.
yeah, I know that. I
Just
know
give him
that. Get
sawdust.
more sawdust. He likes it in his beard and in his derriere. Every
I don't
time
remember
he
hearing that
says,
part.
and in my beard and hair, I swear, I think I will promise you. I will promise you, and I say this with love to Russ, and I will do it with love. If I'm ever on his show soon or whenever, I'm going to hold up little cards, while everybody's singing, give me sawdust, more
Oh
sawdust.
Lord.
And when he says beard and hair, it's going to say derriere. Because
For
that's
the
every time,
world to
that's what I'm
see.
thinking of. But anyway, and in my derriere. Anyway, so yeah, so there's so that was the make room for Javi. This particular skit that we did was a collaboration of the two, and it was not even 10 seconds long. I came in with a board and I said, "Make room for Javi," and I put the board down and I cut it, and that's the scene you see. And then he goes like this. Then he stares at me, and what you're seeing him say is, "You suck at woodworking." And then I just lower my head and just walk away.
That
So
was
that was
good.
quite that's funny. I gotta bring that skit back up, and a lot of the old skits. But anyway, so folks, 5 minutes early. What the hey? Let's unless anybody has any questions. You guys have any questions or something you want me to show on the show? Um, most of you guys that have purchased I mean, I guess you're not. I see my regulars out in the chat room, but if there are any of you hidden folks, because I see 14 out there at the moment, if any of you hidden folks that just finished buying a hobby box and you're putting it together and stuff, I mean, I haven't heard any. One guy was asking a bunch of questions on wiring motors and stuff because he only bought the box itself, not the kit with the motors. But if you have any questions on that, by all means, let me know. It's pretty much self-explanatory. I've been uh, I've been trying to put together some sort of a video for that, but frankly, not enough people have asked. I mean, it's as simple as this. Everybody that buys one plugs it in and starts working. 1 out of 10 people will give me a call and say, "Hey, how do these things go together?" Go to the website that I told you to go to and download the 2 files, and as soon as they follow the instructions, which are like 3 lines, they're up and running. And so I haven't had a need to explain anything. I mean, I'd like to eventually do a full build video and show them how to build it, because I was considering doing uh, another kit that's a little lesser expensive and you can build it yourself. But from what I get from all the customers and from what I get is like there's no interest in it, because it'll only save you about a couple $100, and it'll take them 2-3 days work. A lot of people, most of the people, are scared of the electronics and they don't want to do it. There's only 1 or 2 of those weirdos like me that enjoy a Heath kit and enjoy putting it together and stuff. There's another weirdo right there.
There you go.
And then so but so I'll make exceptions for that. But for the most part, it's the problem with putting it together is, and I'll say this as far as the hobby boxes, even there's a 231 solder connections. There's a whole bunch of connections. There's a bunch of different, and it's simple for me because I've done over 200 of them. Well, my guys have, but let's put it this way. I've troubleshooted all 250 that have gone out so far. How many have I brought out? Hang on, let me so to date I have let's see. Hit the right button here, build status. To date I have 252 out and about. So that's a good deal. That's a good deal. I mean, that's not bad for, what is it, a year and 4 months, year and 3 months, year and 2 months. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's been going well. It's going steady is what it's going. It's not by any means a moneymaker, because frankly, there's nowhere near enough interest. And if there was, some Chinese person be making it.
Yeah.
With 11-year-old kids soldering. But what I was getting at is that there are so many different connections that 1 out of every 2 boxes that are made have a troubleshooting issue before I let it out. And that means that there's always something. There's a motor that's operating in reverse. Most of them are as simple as that, but sometimes it's again, you're talking about over 300 connections that between the soldering and the screwing down and all that, you're looking at a lot of connections that you put the pulse wire where the I mean, you got 4 wires going to each. You got 10 wires going to each stepper driver. All right. Now, obviously, most people are not going to confuse the high voltage wires with the low voltage wires going, the ones going from the control board to the steppers and the ones going from the power supply to the steppers, usually. But when you're putting it all together, it's very easy. And I've done it a number of times. Sometimes from monotony, from doing it over and over, sometimes from not doing one for a couple weeks and I don't forget, but I don't have the rhythm. It's so funny because when I'm doing like 3 a week, when I was doing 3 a week, my success rate for 100% working was probably 90% the first time. I mean, first shot. I always know what's wrong with it. And that's the other thing that I've troubleshooted every single one of them. I could tell you by the way a motor sounds that this wire is going in the wrong direction. I could tell you when the motor is not working that it's this problem or this problem or this problem, and with a simple glance. And those are the things that the electronics and the Heath kit people just don't have because they haven't made a whole bunch of them like I have. And there's the disadvantage. no big deal. They could always call me up, and I'll be happy to walk them through it. But for those of you tech support people out there, you know how it is to walk somebody through on a phone call when you can't see anything and there's a million connections.
Right.
You know, whether it's a program or whether it's I don't know what you're doing. Oh, my dad. I love my dad. I love my dad dearly. 77 years old, and every time he's got an issue, 9 times out of 10, it's an internet issue.
Yep.
And so that's the first thing I check. And usually he'll tell me the internet is fine. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's I go for 2 hours trying to fix a problem, and it's a simple internet issue. But if I drive to his house, it'll take me an hour to get there, hour back. It's the same 2 hours,
Uh-huh.
you know.
That
And
reminds me of the same thing I did with my mother-in-law.
yeah,
I had to drive to her house. It's 15 miles both ways, and then
it's a
for
trek.
installation of a popular malware program that wanted to update it. And she called, and what do I do? And I said, just install it. I don't know
Yeah,
what button to hit.
yeah, it's not that. Yeah,
I
it's not
drive
that
all the
simple.
way over there, and
Yeah,
I go
yeah.
into her house. And I sat down at the computer. I said, click, install.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I pressed the button, but only but the cup holder came out.
And I drive all the way back. I said, that was a wasted trip.
I hear you. I hear you. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, like I said, I love my dad dearly, but there are times where, I've got a lot of work to do here at home, and I will normally I'll answer his call right away, but sometimes, especially when I have a lot of work, I know what's coming, and I'll hold off on calling him for an hour or two. He's still working, and so he uses that to as his, it's his. He creates. He's a contractor. He creates estimates and stuff. So that's his bread and butter. But let me tell you, 99 times out of 100, at least 9 times out of 10, if I wait, the problem will be fixed because he'll figure it out, or he'll not care, or he'll ignore it. Most of the time he'll figure it out. I can't get this to work. I can't get this to work, and I can't get this to work. He picks up the phone, calls me right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I go drive over there. This is what used to happen all the time. I go drive over there, and I understand because I'm a dad. It's nice to have your kids around you. So I understand half the time he it's just because he wants me over there, and I'm more than happy to go. But I love hanging around my dad. But I'm driving over there. Half an hour, I'm halfway down, and he calls me up. Oh, I took care of it. Part of me's relieved, part of me's pissed off. It's like, yeah, you can't win. But yeah,
What's on your retro show tonight?
the retro show tonight is going to be prime time television.
Well, now.
Primetime television. Yeah, we're going to be talking about everything from, I guess, I got to look at my list. I don't want to talk about stuff that I'm going to be talking about in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, primetime is primetime. It's shows like Chips, or shows like MASH, or shows like Barnaby Jones, Mannix. Mm-hmm. I mean, for those of you that are into the cop shows, we'll talk about the cop shows. For those of you that are into the Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, I mean, those kind of, I think I talked about the specials once already, but yeah, Al and I will come up with another wonderful list of shows and stuff. Let's see. What are my future luckily, I love my guys. I love my Stream Deck. I'm crazy about my Stream Deck. One button, and I just popped up my list right now, my retro list. Next week is after school's. Not next week. Forgive me. Oh, folks, before I forget, next week and the following, we will be off. We will be on the sabbatical because I am up north again. So. Next time on the retro show after this primetime thing is after school specials. We'll probably be talking about Grammar Rock and Schoolhouse Rock and all that. Let's see. But I think we talked about those before, so I might skip that one. The following one is Star Trek versus Star Wars. You know, and everyone on the channel will probably say the same thing. There's no such thing as Star Trek versus Star Wars. You know, it's like, why can't we all just get along? It's no contest. I mean, it really isn't a contest. I mean, if you want me to summarize the whole show in a sentence, it's like Star Trek is legendary and it makes great movies. Star Trek is legendary and it makes great television. It's a whole different world. Yes, Star Trek has movies, and a couple of them were up there. None were the impact of Star Wars. No. But then again, Star Wars was not the impact of Star Trek on television. So I mean, you know, you've got Trek conventions all over the world.
Yeah.
But you know, but then again, you know, people always, it's so funny because I watch those shows every now and then. Well, I'll end on this. I watch those. I am a Star Trek fan, and I'll watch some of the convention questionnaires, the panels, and I always hear the actors talking about how wonderful the Star Trek convention, the Comic-Cons and the Star Trek conventions are. And they do have a bit of Star Wars in them. They do have a bit of, you know, V, the miniseries. They have all different sci-fi genres in there. Mostly Star Trek. But then again, there was a time where it was a lot of Battlestar Galactica was very popular and stuff. There's, you know, well, anyway, the point is, I'm sure or near sure that if we had there are fan bases for everything on the planet. I met Russ through fellow woodworking chats, through YouTube, and and we saw each other at a few shows.
Yeah.
And we're part of a much larger, as you guys folks are out there, part of a larger woodworking community, you know. So you don't have to. So if none of your next door neighbors like woodworking, well, you still have a bunch of friends that that enjoy it. And now, I don't care what. I mean, look at Mark's wife, looms.
Yeah.
Is it looms? Not looms. Spinning wheels. Spinning wheels. And you got is it Mitchell that likes looms? Yeah, I think there's. Well, anyway,
there's somebody out there that does.
Yeah. Regardless of what you like. I am positive that if I had, for most things or most shows, there is a fan base where if you would create a con for that show, a convention for that show, people would show up. Yeah. It's that simple. It just so happens that the Star Trek people created a whole, you know, and the comic book people, because they're kind of merged, you know, because a lot of the comic book, you know, because there's Comic-Con and then there's Star Trek conventions. There are other specific conventions, but you'll always see Star Trek stuff at a Comic-Con. You'll always see comics at a Star Trek convention. I mean, that's just, they're just, you know, interweaved. Well, but like I said,
I know which camp Al's in.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely know which camp Al is in. Now, here's the thing. Pick anything. Pick a Marvel superhero club. I bet you there's a bunch of people that, yeah, well, actually there are at Comic-Cons, all the Marvel superheroes, they've created questionnaires and people go to that. But if you have, okay, let's put a really wacky one out there. Golden Girls. First thing that through in my mind. if you have a Golden Girls convention, and God rest their souls, if
I
the
think they're
Golden
all,
Girls,
everybody but Betty White. She's the only one left, I think.
yeah. Rue McClanahan is passed
She's
away,
kicked it.
and I know B. Arthur passed away, right?
She's kicked it.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure about the mother, but
oh
I'm
yeah, the
thinking
mother
she's
passed
gone.
away some time ago. Yeah,
Okay,
and
Betty White.
but I'm sure if you had a Star Trek, I mean Golden Girls convention, they're going to come out of the woodworks
I
and they
might even
will
go see
go.
that. I like that show.
They'll go see it. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
Hey, Mervin,
Mervin.
good to see you. We're just about to sign off. Sorry you missed us, but at 10 o'clock, if you come back on, folks, at 10 o'clock, same channel, Al and I, and again, Russ, you're more than welcome anytime. I know it's a little late for you, but there you go. A Golden Girls cruise, Dave. Thank you very much. Yeah, and see, there's things like there's a Star Trek cruise, at least there was for a while, and I considered going when I was younger. Now, my wife's not into that, so there's no way I'll drag her, especially since now with kids, we must have gone on 15 or 20 cruises already, so we're all cruised out as of a few years ago. I won't go on another cruise. Maybe till my late 70s. But anyway,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it'll be a while. But never say never. But there was a Star Trek cruise back in the 80s, and it's continued to this day. They would 1 year from the East Coast, the next year from the West Coast. 1 year from the East Coast, the next year from the West Coast. Because some of the actors were in New York, some were in L.A., and they would do it either way. But regardless, most of them they show up, and it's a fun cruise, and it's an expensive cruise.
Yeah.
But yeah, cruises are another form of a convention that are pretty cool. So, folks, have a wonderful week. I'll see some of you at 10 o'clock for our prime time 70s and 80s show and our retro show with Al. And everybody have a nice night. Stay tuned. 3 weeks from today, we'll have another show. See what we come up with. If you guys have ideas or you want something drawn up, by all means, shoot it my way. Good night, all.